The cure for addiction is suffering. You suffer enough that something inside you goes, I'm done.
Very hard to moderate, but moderation is the key.
Why am I enslaved to this drink? Why am I so obsessed by the idea of having this drink? And I would look back and recognize that I would go to events for work and be like, I can't enjoy myself until I've had a few beers.
Brace yourself as Hollywood royalty lift the veil on celebrity addiction struggles that most keep hidden. You'll hear uncensored truth from the stars enslaved by alcohol and how it ravages sanity, health, relationships, and careers. Walk in their shoes as we explore the raw stories so candid that they may shock you. Their poignant words serve as cautionary tales and a call to re-examine your own relationship with drinking.
I was in trouble with addictions many years ago. It got worse over lockdown. I was able to hide it because of lockdown, I suppose. Manipulate it. We weren't interacting with people. So ultimately it became a party for one. It became self-sabotage on myself. And at some point over the last year and a half, I lost complete control and I was completely powerless to alcohol. I don't know when or how it happened, but at some point it did.
You know, my family kind of disintegrated when I was a kid. You know, father left, mother passed away, I had to live with my brother, and then kind of just all, like the family, you know, where'd my stuff go? Where it just kind of floated away. That is, you know, the power of the mind, and how here's how my life works. And to actually just completely throw that away, I can't talk to people. I'm anxious, I'm shy, I'm all of the stuff that I thought booze was helping me with, or booze, drugs, women, shopping, eating, gambling. You know, there's so many things that can manifest out there. It all goes back to one core thing. It's like, I don't really know who I am.
I started to realize that something was very wrong with me when I was always the last person standing at the bar, or at dinner parties when everybody else had switched to coffee, I was still quaffing wine.
When I was a teenager, I was got in a lot of trouble, and I was addicted to alcohol. When I was young, it was like I was just shy. I just didn't know how to get along in the world. I didn't know how to talk to people, and alcohol was like the best solution for that.
Like many Brits, had a very, very boozy December. And I would look back and recognize that I would go to events for work and be like, I can't enjoy myself until I've had a few beers. Christmas time, I was on vacation, I was drinking a lot. And I've always been able to drink a lot. I think I get my genes from my mum's side in that thing. Like I can drink.
But there is like an awareness that I really struggled with, particularly in my like late teens, when I was going out to places for the first time, where you would like feel, and it could have largely been in my head, but you would feel watched when you went into a bar, when you went into a pub. And then, you know, in my case, the quickest way of forgetting about the fact that you were being watched was to get very drunk. And then as you get very drunk, you become aware that, oh, people are watching more now because now I'm getting very drunk, so I should probably drink more to ignore that more. So it gets into, you know, it can affect your psyche.
This is pretty emotional. I didn't know Will that well then. And he was like, hey man, do you remember we had dinner the other night? And Will, or Arnett, told me, he's like, you were real. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. And by the way, have your dogs gone out to the bathroom? And I was like, what? No, what time is it? It's 4 o'clock. Oh no, I think they have to go to the bathroom. They're literally standing by the door. And that was like the first time I ever realized I had a problem with drugs and alcohol. Couldn't get into any clubs, like no girls wanted to really look at me. Like it was like, what? I mean, totally depressed. It wasn't until really Hangover. I was 36 when I did The Hangover. So I got to go through all of those things before fame even played into my existence on a daily level.
These harrowing accounts of rock bottom reveal that addiction spares no one. From colossal career failures to brushes with deaths, we'll witness their tragedies. Yet in the rumble of destroyed lives, hope emerges that rigorous honesty and commitment can restore dreams and save others from the same fate.
On Christmas morning, before I got sober, I had been on an all-night bender, and I woke up in a room above a bar. I'd been in that pub the night before. It was Christmas Eve. I was going to have a drink and then go home. I was in London. I was going to go to Scotland, but, you know, the one thing led to another. I stayed in the room above a pub. I woke up on Christmas morning, and I was soaked in my own urine. Now, this is the mind of an alcoholic. I woke up that morning, Christmas morning, and I thought, you know, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to kill myself today. I'm going to do it today.
You should watch the hell out, because alcohol is a vicious drug.
If you're asking how alcoholism impacts me, it's f***ed up, you know, and it continues to get f***ed up. Like, it continues to maybe get worse even. It's a progressive illness.
Because every time I drank, I would black out. So I woke up that next morning, and I had only had it wasn't a hard night of drinking, a couple beers, but I was just the sickest I've ever been. And the thing about hangovers that I really had to look at was like, when you're hungover, no, everyone's like, you piece of shit, you did this to yourself.
And it was started off with this, then it became that. Then my wife started getting on me like, Jesus Christ, look at the size of it. I go, it's a home pour. 8 minutes left in the show, pour another one. So I poured the other one and it was over, and I was walking down the stairs to our bedroom and I didn't know if she was still up or not. I literally was hiding it on the side of my leg, trying to make sure the ice cube wasn't going to clink against the side of the glass.
It was more just that I lost everything. I was practically homeless, and I was a big failure early on. I had a theater company, I had all these artistic pretensions, and I basically wound up not being able to make any money, people not liking anything that I did, and just being practically kicked out of my apartment, unable to support myself, unable to hold down like a waiting tables job. My friends all started to abandon me because I was a very angry and horrible human being to be around. And then finally, like my girlfriend, who I never thought would leave me, like left me.
My family's gonna go away because of my behaviors that I brought home from the road. I got kicked out of the house by my wife. I was living on my own somewhere, and that scared the shit out of me. And she said, hey, you gotta go somewhere and sort this shit out.
And we ranked all the drugs on those harms, and then we weighted the harms. And amazingly, out of that, to my surprise, alcohol came top. Alcohol was the most harmful drug because the social harms of alcohol are so enormous. The harms due to health costs, due to road traffic accidents, due to violence in the streets, domestic violence, those are the ones that make alcohol be the most harmful drug. What I've discovered was that the government did not want that message.
And I just held on to that belief that real Lucy came out when she was drinking. I was willing to just go to this crazy dark place every time. Basically, what alcohol did for me, it did a couple of things. It was like this feeling of, oh my God, this is what I've been searching for my whole life. I'm my truest self, right? Like I'm so much funnier and cooler and people like me.
Alcohol, it's all things that it feels good the more you do, but it's it's the worst thing for you, I think.
How do you think that impacted you?
I mean, I think that I had a really uncomfortable childhood. As family trees go, every leaf on my mom's family tree, I think I can pretty safely say everyone, except for my generation, like my cousins, I think they all died from alcoholism.
I think most people don't realize that being drunk is actually a poison-induced disruption in the way that your neural circuits work.
There are days when you wake up and you feel so horrible that the only thing that will make you feel better is more alcohol. And that's when you're in the death spin, that's when people die. On one occasion, had what I know to be a lethal level of alcohol in my blood system. Even that didn't scare me into stopping. Can you believe it? Even that. Everybody looked prettier and smarter and was more interesting, and me too. All my insecurities would sort of fade back.
It was just alcohol for me always, if you took something fun, alcohol made it more fun. And if you took something boring, it made it less boring.
Alcohol targets mitochondria. Alcohol poisoning is due to mitochondrial disruption and impairment.
Alcohol really is a good drug for coping with anxiety. That's why people use it. If you really like alcohol, it does two things to you. It makes you more extroverted and enthusiastic. You're on the ascending limb of the blood alcohol curve, which is why you have to keep drinking. Because if you plateau, that goes away. So you got to keep drinking. Okay, so that's one thing. And the second thing it does is reduce anxiety. So if you are a bit more socially anxious, and you also have that positive response to alcohol, which everyone doesn't have, by the way, then it's a great drug. But the problem is, it's a great drug for the moment. There's consequences.
Hear what motivated these celebrities to finally choose emotional healing over self-destruction. For some, it was one symbolic moment. For others, losing everything precious before surrendering. Their path back from the brink requires strength, self-love, and refusing to settle. Join them as they share positive tools that empower lasting change.
It was the best thing I ever did. Enabled me to have a solid marriage and kids and a career, and I didn't end up a crazy actor. No one can get sober for their jobs, for their wife, for their kids. They can't do it for any of that. They can only do it when they decide they're done.
So why quit drinking? So I don't end up in hell. There's a reason to stop. And then if you make that hell real, it's like, here's all the details of my personal hell. Yes, let's avoid that.
Right.
So then you have something to run the hell away from.
I found amazing replacements that I think are fantastic. Ones that are also really healthy.
I've known Cherry for a while, but we rekindled our friendship and then started dating, and then she exercises a lot, so I went and started going on runs with her. She eats quite healthily, so I started eating quite healthily with her. She doesn't drink that much, so I wasn't drinking that, and I think that all changed things.
It's easy to embrace hopelessness when things seem insurmountable, and yet it's actually just a matter of time until all of the elements come together for things to be all right. I mean, I believe that, most difficult situations will resolve themselves if you are persistent and if you don't give up entirely. And that's what I never did. I never gave.
There's no guarantee that I can stay sober for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. The truth of the matter is every single alcoholic only has today. None of us knows what will happen tomorrow. We all do everything we can today that tomorrow we won't pick up a drink, but we really only have today.
When I gave up alcohol, the funniest part was we're all getting our hair colored, and I wanted it to be bleach blonde. And I was like, I want to look like Andy Warhol. And then I gave up alcohol. Why would I want to look like Andy Warhol? I don't think that's a normal thing. I don't think that's really who I am. No, that wasn't my rock bottom, but that definitely was a part of the day that I wish I honestly had on video, because it was one of those moments where it was like, wow, that moment of surrender was beautiful.
Really? Yeah, I did, like a real desire to live. And I suppose the birth of my first son, James, was a moment in my life where I got to realize fully that I wasn't just living for myself anymore, which none of us ever really are. But I was really, I had this little baby who didn't need a best friend, who needed a dad. So that was a big turning point for me. He was about 2 when I got sober. Yeah, James was about 2.
I don't want to, at this point, to be running from anything. I want to sit in it. I want to feel it. I want to get through the rough night. And I found doing so, you come out the other side with a more profound understanding of yourself, a greater gratefulness for those in your life.
The point I'm trying to make to you is this. Now, I have been sober 15 years. There is absolutely no way I have a drinking problem. I don't have a drinking problem. I have a thinking problem. I'm 15 years sober. I want to make something clear to you. I'm not advocating temperance. I'm not advocating that. I'm saying this is for me. If I could drink, I would drink, but I can't. You can't say, to kids, drink responsibly. You can say to me, drink responsibly, and I'll say, I'll try. Certain types of people can't drink. I'm one of them.
Because I'm negative and I'm dark, and I want to do bad stuff. I want to hang out in this neighborhood alone. That's dangerous to hang out in this neighborhood alone up here, right? It wants to kill everything. It wants to kill me, too. I made the right decision. I made Cuz proud of me. I made myself proud of me. I hate myself. I'm trying to kill myself. I hate myself a lot, but I want to change my life. I want to live a different life now. I want to live my sober life. I don't want to die. I haven't took drugs in 6 days. And for me, that's a miracle. I've been lying to everybody else and think I was sober, but I'm not. This is my 6th day. I'm never going to use again.
It's interesting because all that time of storytelling now, the things that didn't serve me before, now it serves me. Now I'm able to go to a place and share stories. I mean, I think, God works in mysterious ways, man, and also in unmysterious ways, but also in way motherfucking mysterious ways.
You feel uncomfortable, you feel distressed, you feel anxious and distressed, and you basically start noticing you have more cravings and urges to go back to drinking more alcohol to make these signs and symptoms get milder or go away. So basically you're self-medicating and kind of perpetuating the cycle because you don't want to feel this way and you don't want to feel this discomfort from alcohol withdrawal. Now, in milder cases, these mild signs and symptoms may go away in 1 to 2 days. In more moderate cases, it could be 3 to 5 days. But bottom line is, it's these withdrawal symptoms, even though they're mild, which may continue to perpetuate somebody's drinking because they say, I don't want to feel this way. And I notice that when I start drinking, it kind of goes away. And it may just kind of continue the cycle of problematic drinking.
Half of the year off, and I just got to be dad. Drive him to school, pick him up, go to the swim meet. That's where the parenting happens. It's in the cracks. It's in the moments where you're just taking them back from soccer and they say something profound or they talk about how they're really feeling about something. And it's like, that's where you get to be the parent. That's the joy of it. And that's what I don't want to miss.
From darkness emerges light. These stories show us that we can get control over our drinking habits. We can get control over alcohol. We're not alone. We're not powerless. And we certainly aren't victims. If you're ready to get control over alcohol, I invite you to binge watch all of my channel, where you'll find videos about how to quit, what to expect when to quit, and all of the tips and tricks that you need to be successful on your alcohol-free journey. And if you're interested in getting hold of my mini book, where it has a step-by-step guide on how to quit drinking, the link is in the description below. And if you're finally ready and you want my personal support one-on-one to finally quit drinking, book a call with me. The link's in the description below. And if you're not ready for that, binge watch the channel, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you on the next one.